Hello guys, this is allrover, and in this lecture we will be seeing about the what you call more about closures in JavaScript. In the previous lecture we have seen about the closures in JavaScript, and in this we will be seeing the something more about closures. So this is the example code in which first the global variable I is initialized with 10, and the outer function is there. And in the outer function you can see j is initialized with 20, and inside this we have the inner function which is declared as a what you call function expression, not as a function. It is a function expression, and k is initialized with 30, and console it is output the value j and k. And then key plus plus, we are doing k plus plus, and we are returning inner. First we are calling the outer function, and the return, that is the inner function, is stored in the inner. After that we are calling the inner twice. So what should be the output of this code? So let's decode it step by step with the help of execution stack. We will be doing this. So first, what was it? In where I is 10, in the global scope I will be created, and we have outer environment and the inner variable and this keyword. So in the global execution, in the global what do you call execution stack, these are the execution context that has been created, and when it reached here, outer function will be called. So execution context for that will be created for the outer function. In the outer function you can see we have j, and after that we have the variable inner and the outer environment. The outer environment for the outer function is the global environment. So this is the outer function. Once the outer function is called, then after the finishing of this outer function, this execution stack will be deleted, but the execution context will remain for the inner function because of the closure that we have seen in the previous lecture. So after calling the inner function, we in the inner function execution context will be created. In the inner function execution context have k, so we are after that we are printing the value of j and k. So the value of j is 20, and the value of k is 30, right? So 20 and 30 will be printed, and then we are doing k plus plus, so k becomes 31, right? After that inner function has been completed, so it will be deleted from the execution stack. Again the inner function will be called. Again inner function is called. So here comes, and k is initialized with 30, and we are printing the value of j and k, and then k plus plus. So j remains the same, only 20 and 30. So what should be the output of this code? I think both the calls of the inner function should have the same output. Just run it once. You can see both have the output 20 and 30. The value has not been changed. After that we will see some other example code. See this example code. The difference between this code and the previous code is that only we are incrementing k also, but in the previous one here we are incrementing j also, but in the previous one we are incrementing only k, right? So see, this is how it will work. First the outer global execution stack will be created, and the execution context for the global execution stack is I value outer function and inner variable. Now after that outer function will be called. In the outer function will be called, we have in the outer function we have j as 20, and then we have the variable inner. We have the inner, and then the outer environment, and the outer environment for the outer function is the global environment. So and then return inner. Outer has return inner. After that, since the outer function execution has been completed totally, so the execution context for that will be deleted, but it will remain for the use of inner function. The variables that are there in the outer function will remain for the inner function to use, because of the closure property of the javascript that we have seen in the previous lecture. So we have the inner call, and in the inner call you can see execution stack for that will be created. And this we have the variable k, and we are printing the value of j and k. So see what is the value of j. J has the value of 20. I think j has the value of 20, right? J has the value of 20 initially. J has the value of 20, so it will print j and k, that is 20 and 30. And after that, k and j will be incremented. So in the red mark you can see that it is incremented to k has been incremented, and j has been incremented to 21. Now since the inner function execution has been completed, so the inner context will be deleted from the execution stack. Now again the inner function is called. Now when the inner function will be called again, the execution context for that will be created, and for execution stack k will be initialized with 30. Again we are printing the value of j and k. Since inner function has the reference to the value j, so j is now incremented in the previous call, so j has become 21. uh, j has become 21, so the print output of this should be 30 and 21. 30 and 31. After that, key has been incremented, and then j has been incremented again, right? So the output should be j and k. First j and k should be 20 and 30, and second j is 21 and 30. So just run it once. You can see that 30k value has remained the same, only the g value has been incremented from 20 to 21, right? So this is the explanation using the execution stack. And after that we have the one more example code is there. In this we are incrementing the value of j also, and we are printing the value of I also. We are incrementing the value of I also, and we are printing the value of I also. So since j and k we have already seen, so I will not be explaining the value of how the j and k will be, what should be the value of j and k. Only I will be explaining the value, what should be the value of I. So when the outer function will be called, it control will come here where j equal to 20, and it will return the inner to the inner variable after the execution. Now when the inner function will be called, it will come here and it will print the value of I, j and k. Now I have explained what should be the value of j and k when it has called, because in the previous example code we have seen that. I will be explaining the value of I only. In the I, what should be printed value of I should be printed with 10, right? Then k is incremented, j is incremented, and I also incremented, so I has now become the value of 11. Now again we are calling the value, calling what I call inner function we are again calling. So what should be the value of I that should be printed? It should be printed 11. So in the first call I should be 10, and in the second call I should be 11, right? So if I run this code, only the value of I will be changed. Initially we were having this j and k as this one, 20, 30 and 21, 30. J will be remaining the same, only I will be 10 and 11. You can see it. I am running it. You can see that j and k has remained the same, only the I value has become 10 and 11. Now after that I am explaining one more code to you. In this, what I have changed is that this is the same, but here we are calling the outer function, and after that we are calling the inner function. Again we are calling the outer function, again we are calling the inner function. So here we are calling the outer function twice, but in the previous example we are calling the outer function only once. Here we are calling the inner function twice and the outer function as well as the inner function both twice. So this is the execution context for that has been created, and this is for the I'm doing these are two different part. Suppose these are the two different part. This is for the first call of the outer, this is for the first call of the outer, and this is for the second call of the outer. Execution context are created. Second outer call is here. Now I will be explaining you where inner outer function has been called. I is initialized with 10, right? Initially I is initialized with 10 because it is a global variable, and when the outer function is called, j has 20 value. Outer function j has the value 20, and we have inner function return the inner, right? After that we have called the inner function, and in the inner function you can see k has been initialized with 30, and we know that when the outer function contact has been completed it will be deleted, but the variable will remain for the use of the inner function. So inner has the reference to the variable of the outer function, right? So this is the context for the inner, and k is initialized with 30. We are printing the value of I, j and k. So what should we print the value of I, j and k? I should be printed with 10, j should be printed with 20, and k should be printed with 30. Now we are incrementing the value of I, j and k. Again, after when the inner call has been completed, execution context for this will be deleted. Again we are calling the outer function, so execution context for new execution context will be created for the outer function, and in the outer function you can see we have the variable is initialized with 20, right? So in the first inner call, the printed value was 10, 20 and 30. This was the printed value, right? This is the output, this is the written output, this is output. So 10, 20 and 13 is printed already. Now we are again calling the outer function, and in the outer function when it will come, j is initialized with 20, and it will return inner to the inner. After the execution this has been completed, outer function execution has been completed. Now we are calling the inner function, and in the inner function you can see execution context for that is created. K is initialized with 30, and we are printing the value of I, j and k. Now I has become 11, you can see I has become 11, and so the printed output should be I is 11, and j and k are 20 and 30. And after that we are incrementing all the value of I, j and k. So I now will become 12, and g and k will become 21, and k will become 31. So the printed output should be 11, 12, 20 and 30, and I have already given you the explanation with the help of execution stack. So this is the output. I will run it for you. You can see what is the output: 10, 20 and 30, and 11, 20 and 30. So this is something deep about the closures property in JavaScript, and I have shown you with the help of execution stack and execution context in a very detailed manner. So thank you so much for watching, and keep following the next lectures. Thank you very much.